Hey guys, MD Prepper here. Another surplus rifle review. This on the must-have Mosin Nagant 9130. Great rifle for a great price. Unfortunately, the price has gone up recently, but you still got to get one of these for the money, guys. If you want a good, decent rifle that's going to do a heck of a lot of good service and do it for cheap. First of all, Mosin Nagant 9130. The basic model was in 1891, hence the 91 of the 9130. They were remade and upgraded in 1931. It's the 31. These things are great rifles. Very basic, very sturdy, very sturdy. Saw a lot of heat at the Battle of Stalingrad, harsh Russian winters, all that. They stood up. Not as nice as a Mauser. Not nearly as nice of an action as any Mauser you're ever going to find. But again, this is Russian-made stuff. Russian-made gear isn't pretty, but it's certainly serviceable. It is durable and, again, built like a tank. You can run over it with a tank. It's going to get the job done. Great rifles. Love them a lot. Back in the day, you could get a Turkish Mauser or something like that cheap for 70, 80, 90 bucks, 100. I'd probably prefer one of those to this. Back in those days when you could get ammo cheap and all that. But nowadays, this one is probably the best buy on the surplus market that I've found, unless you get into some of the exotic stuff with weird ammo. It's going to be expensive to shoot. You're going to get the rifle cheap, but you're going to spend a fortune on ammo. But this one, I bought this quite a few years ago as a med student back in the day. This was my only internet purchase of a firearm I've done today. At this point, ordered this longer version, which is the 9130. This is the full-size one. They also mounted scopes on these and turned them into a sniper rifle. Basically, that was all they did to them. They did the job. They also had the M44 carbine, the shorter version. Got one of those too. Love them both. M44 is probably a handier rifle, more of a carbine. This is your full-size battle rifle from back in the day. This one I have refinished, which should be obvious if you can see it here. Show it to you in a second. The lacquer on this thing was falling off, chipping off when I got it, and so again I decided to refinish it. I think it turned out pretty well, guys. Let me know what you think. But I thought the wood on this thing, the grain and all, was very nice. Flip this bad boy over, show you the flip side. There you go. It's got a few little scuff marks on it and all that since I've refinished it. Linseed oil stain and all that kind of stuff, varnish. But I think this is a gorgeous rifle. Maybe not as pretty as that Turk Mauser I showed you guys yesterday, but very functional. Of course, it's bolt action like everything back in those days other than the American-made stuff. Straight bolt for almost all of them. There you go. The action on this is nowhere near as nice as a Mauser, but the tolerances are looser, just like any type of Russian-made weapon. Little rough on the bolt. Close it down. Not nearly as smooth as your Mauser action. Of course, it's based off of Mauser action, just like every bolt action ever since Mausers were made. Much cheaper overall to manufacture, looser tolerances and all that. You say, well, I don't want looser tolerances. Well, AR-15 versus AK argument. Looser tolerances is going to be more serviceable in worse situations. The Mausers had problems in the Russian winter. The bolts locking up with ice and everything else on the bolts. These things, beat it open with a hammer. There's a saying about Russian firearms. If you can't get it to work, you need to use a bigger hammer. If it still doesn't work, you need an even bigger hammer. So you can hammer this bolt open easily if you absolutely had to. If it locked up or anything, you're not going to hurt it. Now, you're not going to probably need to do that, but there's one situation we're going to talk about. Very distinctive magazine here. 5 rounds. We'll take stripper clips. We'll talk about strippers here in a second. 5 rounds that can be removed easily other than sitting here and ejecting them single-handedly. You can actually open this here at the bottom. Rounds are going to fall out. And actually take that thing out, get access to the rounds. So that works real well. One thing I do not like about this rifle, and I think most people with Mosin Nagants don't like, is the safety. The safety sucks. It's hard to use. This bolt back here, you have to take it, pull it back, and twist it to the side to get it in shape. You say, that's not too bad. This thing's too tough to easily open up in any type of combat situation, anything like that. If I was carrying this thing and needed to fire it quickly, obviously I'd be holding the thing, pointing it towards a bad guy. But if I had to sling this thing, I would probably keep it in the open position with all my rounds in there ready to lock and load in a heartbeat. I would not carry this thing with the safety on unless I knew I was not going to need to engage it quickly or easily. You know, if I was climbing up a deer stand, something like that, it's a deer rifle, sure, I'd engage that, but I probably wouldn't load around until I was up at the deer stand. Going to be easier, quicker, and probably just as quiet. Anyway, sights on this thing, probably better than the Turkish Mauser that I showed you. Got your standard rear sight here. Goes up to 2,000 yards, which I don't know if I'm that good with open iron sights to fire this rifle 2,000 yards to hit the target. I don't know. I've not had the opportunity to shoot that far. Hooded sight on it there. Very nice. Comes with a cleaning rod. This one has all matching numbers and parts on it and all that. Barrel, you got to check the barrels out on all of these when you buy them, because a lot of times these things have been neglected. Shooting corrosive ammo, you're going to have a very corroded barrel. You can get new barrels, but why get a new barrel when you can get a rifle for this price that's going to shoot just fine? Just check out the stock they've got. Got this thing years ago for, with shipping and FFL fees and all that, I think it was $60 to $70, give or take. Paid about $10 to $15 more for the shorter carbine version. The guys at the store, pawn shop that I transferred through, cut me a deal and actually just charged me one FFL fee for both rifles, which was fantastic. Plus it was the cheapest FFL around. Now, so we get around, let's talk about rounds. This thing shoots the 7.62x54R, or rimmed cartridge. This is a very standard model here you're going to find. This is probably what most of you guys shoot if you shoot surplus. These rounds are basically equivalent to a .308 Winchester, give or take. Close enough. Basic ballistics are going to be about the same. So as we all know, .308s are a good reach out and mess someone up type of round. You're probably going to find very reasonable ammo out there if you look around for the cheap. Most of it's going to be corrosive, and like I said before, if you've got problems shooting corrosive ammo, you're just lazy about cleaning your guns. Corrosive ammo, mankind's been shooting corrosive ammo longer than they have been shooting non-corrosive, so suck it up. Use some soapy water, use some Windex with ammonia in it to get the mercury salts out, and then just clean it like normal. It's not that hard, especially on a bolt gun. Don't know if I'd want to shoot a semi-auto with corrosive, that's going to be a pain in the butt, but for bolts, it's easy. Shoot at the range, clean your gun. Not a big deal. So anyway, big rifle, big heavy rifle. Don't have the exact weight on it, but finishes up nice. Has your little dog collar sling here, because it looks like a dog collar on both sides. This is the original canvas sling it came with. Have not shown all the accessories it comes with. I may do a separate vid on that if someone wants me to. Comes with a detachable bayonet, spike style bayonet, which is great. When I showed this to my grandfather years ago, who was World War II vet, said, "Man, this is a better bayonet than ours. Lighter and probably do the job better." He was very impressed by the Russian bayonet. I've never bayoneted anyone with it, but hope I never do. Anyway, going back to the rounds. Let's talk about stripper clips first. Kind of hard to find for these things. You're going to have to look around. You're going to get them in probably a 10-pack or something like that on one of your surplus sites. Kind of distinctive for a stripper clip. You've got this extra lip on both sides here. You got to get used to these things because they're rimmed. When you insert this in the rifle, what you're going to want to do is pull this one round up, the top one, and then push down like so to get things to load quickly and easily. Otherwise, it's going to be all staggered and you're going to hurt your hand. But anyway, 5 rounds per stripper clip. 5 rounds will fit in the box mag. Here's just a box of a bag of stripper clips that I picked up a while back. 10 of them I think was 15, 16 bucks. Not the cheapest stripper clip in the world, does the job. Back on the surplus line. These are brass cased, obviously. These are harder to find. I bought those years ago for cheap. What you're going to find though are Hungarian, Romanian, etc. steel case rounds. Not the prettiest in the world, and what you're going to find is you're going to have these little silver tips on them. These have a steel tip in them for penetration, armor piercing, that type of stuff. They're called light ball, very accurate, hits real well. Your indoor gun ranges are probably not going to allow this type round. It's going to mess up their backstop and their bullet catch and all that. But if you're shooting outdoors, this is fine. I've got tons of this stuff. You can get them in 440 round spam cans for about 70, 80 bucks if you look around. You may pay a little more for them these days. I got tons of this stuff, guys. I've got many thousands of rounds that I bought back in the day when I had no money, just because I knew the prices were only going to go up. So, good rifle. Shoot it a lot. Now you say, I want some newer ammo. I don't want this armor-piercing stuff. I want to hunt with this rifle, which again, shooting like a 308, you can take just about anything with, other than some of your biggest game here in North America. But you can find basic soft points, hollow points, etc. around. The best stuff I've found for cheap is going to be your Yugoslavian partisan ammo. You can get that from Palmetto State Armory here in South Carolina online at 13, 14 bucks for a 20-round box. It's brass cased, reloadable, etc. So very reasonable. That's cheaper than what you're going to pay for 30-06, you know, for general purposes. So not bad for hunting ammo and outstanding for surplus. Love this rifle. Now, one thing you're going to run into with this bad boy, when you get them, you got to look for sticky bolt. Now, I fixed the sticky bolt on this, but what sticky bolt is after you fired a few rounds through this thing, this bolt is going to be just about impossible after a few rounds to open. First shoot's going to be tough. You're going to have to manhandle it. After a while, you're going to have to actually hit it with a hammer to get the thing open to extract a round. That is not the fault of the rifle. You do not get a bad rifle. That is because of the Cosmoline packing. They pack these things for long-term storage with Cosmoline. What happens is that Cosmoline eventually leaches into your breech area here and gets into the metal. Now, your standard cleaning will not remove it. It's going to feel smooth and clean. It's not. After you fire enough rounds, especially this lacquered steel case, this thing's going to heat up and heat up fast. And what's going to happen is some of that Cosmoline is going to leach out and melt, but it's going to quickly cool down again and basically glue itself to the round, and you're going to have a hard time working this thing. There's plenty of videos online about how you clean out your breech and everything for that. I'm not going to go into that. You get one of these, even if somebody's told you it's been cleaned out, yeah, you can go to the range and test it out, but I'd still recommend you clean the heck out of this thing. Again, there's plenty of videos online on YouTube telling you how to fix that. Otherwise, love this rifle. A lot of you may recoil at the fact that I refinished it. Well, I didn't feel bad. This stock looked like it was falling apart. It looked awful. Like a dog had gotten a hold of it and chewed on it for a while. I don't feel bad about monkeying around with a 9130 because there were 37 million of these made. If I wanted to, I can go out tomorrow and buy 5 of them at the local gun store and replace it and keep one in original condition. That type of stuff. This one had just been beat up. The metal on it, the bolt, everything was gorgeous. The stocks had been through hell. I don't know what this thing had been bumped up against. Anyway, 37 million. Incredibly durable rifle. Went through the winters at Stalingrad, etc. There's nothing you're going to do to this rifle that it can't handle. Again, classic Russian style. Again, 37 million made. So, what can you say? Good rifle. Most of the time they come with accessories kit. Did not show that here. If you want to see all the various accessories and other things about this rifle, I can do a secondary vid. But you can get these nowadays. Unfortunately, the price has gone up. Roughly $100 to $130, give or take, depending on condition for a 9130. I've seen the carbines for $250 plus these days, which is a shame. Those are great. Unfortunately, you're not going to find those. The supplies seem to have dried up fairly well, so you're going to pay a premium. This does the job. This is a great, great rifle. Great as a starter rifle if you're getting into deer hunting, or if you just want to play around with a bolt gun. You know, if you're an AR-15 guy, you got your handguns, your shotguns, all that, and you say, hey, I want to go old school and play with a bolt gun, see if I like it. Get a 9130. It's cheap. It's going to do the job. I've got several. Love them a lot. This one was all matching parts, again, back in the day for very, very cheap. I still wouldn't hesitate to buy one of these for $125. Good rifles. Highly recommend them. Great rifle if you want something that's not new, like my previous videos of the in-box store, you know, big box, brand new purchases. This thing kicks butt. Gorgeous rifle. Do a lot with it. Hope you like this, guys. MD Prepper out.